We say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to the whole house of Yasha'al, to the whole Ba'if of Yasha'al, all 12 tribes, wherever your feet are touching the soil on this yom. Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to the elder brother, the elder Ak, Yahudah. Shabbat Shalom to the younger brother, to the younger Ak, Ephraim or Ephraim. Shabbat Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner, the former Gentile, who was formerly afar off, who was formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, but having now being engrafted, re-engrafted, in some cases engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yahushua HaMashiach, which is Yasha'al, who is Ha-Natsah, which is to say the branch, and whereby now the former foreigner and the former stranger and the former Gentile, being now engrafted into Ha-Natsah, you are now Natsarim, you are now branches of the olive tree, and now fellow citizens of the house of Yasha'al, and whereby now privy to the same everlasting covenant and promise and inheritance that was given to Yasha'al and to Yasha'al alone. Shabbat Shalom to you, all 12 tribes, wherever your feet are touching the soil, to the elder Ak, Yahudah, the younger Ak, Ephraim or Ephraim, and to the former stranger, the former foreigner, the former Gentile, who is now engrafted into us. Shabbat Shalom. Peace and blessings to you wherever you are. That is to say, shalom and barakut to you and your entire house. We thank you once again for those of you who are on YouTube for tuning in again and for spending this Shabbat Yom with YAHUAH'S remnant, with the YAHUAH remnant family. I am Daoud Ban Yahuwah, and this is my Aisha, which is to say wife, Asha Yah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Much is happening. Much is happening in this season. Much has been occurring. Much has been occurring. This is a season in which everyone is looking for the deep things. They're looking for the deep matters. Indeed, this path that Yahuwah has us on began back at the beginning of August of last year. Many have come and gone since that time because the teachings have not been deep enough for them. It just has not been deep enough. It hasn't uncovered deep enough things for them. Indeed, just this past week, we understand that Kobe Bryant and his daughter passed. And there's no shortage of videos about this matter, trying to dig up the esoteric, the so-called hidden knowledge, talking about the age of his daughter, which was 13 years of age, which is symbolic of rebellion. And speaking even about his age, he was 41 years of age, and speaking about how the number 4 and 1 equate to something and how that equates to the coming Super Bowl. I don't know. I just heard my Aisha speaking about it. I don't know exactly what they're saying, but the point is everybody is looking for the deep matter. Everybody's looking for the deep things. But I mentioned that this path began back at the beginning of August, and at the beginning of August, Abba spoke something profound to us, and he said that the deep things are found in the simple things. The deep things, the deep matters are found in the simple things. Indeed, Yahushua in the Beshorah, in the so-called Gospels, as the children were trying to get to him, and his taught ones were trying to keep the children from coming to Yahushua, and Yahushua said, do not forbid them from coming. Do not forbid them from coming, for such of these is the reign of Elohim. He goes on to say that unless we are as one of these, we will not enter the reign of Elohim. Indeed, it is the simple matters that are so simple that a child can grasp, that a child can understand. It is the simple matters that are going to allow us to enter into life, not the deep matters. It is the simple matters that are going to allow us to enter into life. Indeed, the ancient path is a simple matter, Mishpaka. It is simple. The ancient path is very simple. The ancient path is this, Mishpaka. It is obeying the unadulterated milk of the word of Yahuwah. This is the ancient path. It's not something that's difficult. It's not something that's hidden. It's not a deep matter. It is simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. This is the ancient path. And so for those of you on YouTube, if you're looking for some deep explanation, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The ancient path is not some deep matter. It is simply obeying like a child, like a babe, obeying the simple, unadulterated milk of the word, just sucking on the baby's bottle, just sucking on the milk of the word and doing what it says to do. This is the ancient path. This is the ancient path. Indeed, it is what will gain us access into life. It is what will gain us access to Mount Zion. It is what will gain us access back into the garden. It is what will gain us access into eternal life. The word, Torah. The ancient path is the word. The ancient path is Torah. This is what will gain us access into eternal life. Well, some still don't believe me. So let's delve into what you may believe is deep, but it's not deep. It's a simple matter. It's a simple matter. Let's look at the Hebrew, the Abbaite word for word. For word. It is what? It is dabar. We know that the word is Torah. But the Abbaite Hebrew word for word is dabar. Dabar. D-A-B-A-R. It is comprised of the Hebrew or Abbaite letters dalat, ba'it, and rash. Dalat means what? It means door. Ba'it means house. Rash means head. So it is the word, the unadulterated milk of the word, which is the door. Yes, it is. It is the door that gains us entrance into the house, the ba'it, where we will meet the head, the Rosh, Yahuwah. Indeed, we do not yet know what we will be, but when we see him, we shall be as he is, because we shall be like him. It is the word, the unadulterated milk of the word, which will gain us access into the house where we meet the head. Barak Yahuwah. It's simple. Simple matters. Yes, it is. Simple matters. Simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. It was about 2 years ago, Barak Yahuwah, when Yahuwah shifted my direction. Up until that time, about 2 years ago, I too was interested in the hidden deep thing, the esoteric, until Yahuwah awakened me out of my sleep one night, and I felt his breath entered me, and out of my mouth flowed these words. They were his words speaking through me, that Torah is the way, the truth, and the life. Ever since then, I've been focusing on this ancient path, focusing on Torah. Torah is the ancient path, the unadulterated milk of the word. It's simple. It's simple. It's not enough to say that we are on the ancient path. We must bear the fruit. And it's not difficult. It's not a difficult thing to do. It is simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. You see, it is the deep things that are going to cause people to be destroyed. It is the deep things that are going to cause people to be destroyed. It was the deep matter that caused our father Adam and Kua to be ejected from the garden. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. They desired the knowledge of the tree. They desired knowledge. They desired to partake of the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. They sought the deep things. Yes, they did. When all they had to do to stay in the garden was to simply obey the word. Don't partake of this tree. You can eat of everything else, but don't partake of this one. And had they simply obeyed the unadulterated milk of the word, they were only given one commandment, Mashpaka. Yes, they were. It was simple. Just don't eat of that tree. You can eat of all the rest. And if you obey this simple instruction, guess what? I am going to give you access to the tree of life. I'm going to give you access to the tree of life. But because they sought the deep thing, the tree of knowledge, they were ejected from the garden. The same applied to after the garden, after the fall. You see, we find two manner of people there. The firstborn according to the Ruach and the firstborn according to the flesh. You see, the firstborn according to the Ruach, they sought the simple matters. Just the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. They were just content. They were like childlike. They were baby-like. They all had bottle in hand, just satisfied with the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. But you see, it was the deep matters that destroyed the children of Cain. Yes, it was. Because the messengers, the watchers, they came down and they mixed with them. And they taught them forbidden knowledge. They taught them sorcery and the dividing of fruits and alchemy and the smashing of the wound and the painting of the face and the making of weapons and all sort of forbidden knowledge. They taught them. And it was that deep knowledge, it was those deep things that destroyed the children of Cain. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. It is the deep things that's going to destroy this generation. You see, this knowledge that's being proliferated here through the mouth of his servant is just too simple for them. You see, we're living in a time that Daniel Nabuah prophesied about, that knowledge was going to increase. Yes. Knowledge is going to increase. And guess what? With the increase of knowledge, with the increase of gnosis, hell has enlarged itself. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. The ancient path is simple. It's simple. I'm reminded of those two righteous men, Methuselah and Noah, who proclaimed and preached the message of righteousness for 120 years. And I'm reminded of the Torah, that if we are careful to obey the Torah, then what? Then we shall live. If we just simply what? If we just simply do righteousness, because this is what he desires. He desires righteousness. He desires for us to do righteousness, which is obedience to Torah, the unadulterated milk of the word. He don't care about the deep esoteric. He simply wants us to do righteousness. To do righteousness. That's the ancient path. Do righteousness. Don't just speak about it. Do it. Do righteousness. He's even given us a blueprint of what we are to do and what we are not to do. It's simple. Just simple do righteousness. Simply obey the word. Simply obey Torah. And this is what will get you into the house to meet the head. Rosh. The ancient path. The simple, unadulterated milk of the word. But those two righteous men doing righteousness, preaching for 120 years. Methuselah then dying before the flood waters came. But Noah continuing to proclaim the message of righteousness until the flood waters came. But I'm reminded of those two men, simple men, humble men, meek men, perfect men, just simply doing righteousness. This is the ancient path, to do righteousness. Simply doing righteousness. And because they simply did righteousness and simply obeyed the unadulterated milk of the word, Noah and his sons entered into the ark, and they lived. And they lived. I pray that you're paying attention to these messages that our Father is speaking, because it is only those, first and foremost, firstborn according to the Ruach, not according to the flesh, because you can't walk this ancient path without being born of Ruach. You can't do it. It's impossible. But it is only those who are firstborn according to the Ruach, walking this ancient path, which means to what? Which means to simply do righteousness. You can run your mouth all you want. You can give him all the lip service you want. He simply wants us to do righteousness. Just do righteousness. Just do righteousness. That's all I'm asking. Just do righteousness. This is the ancient path. And if we do so, there's nothing new under the sun. We too will enter into an ark. We too will go to Mount Zion, where we will enter into the house and where we will meet the head. Just simply do righteousness. Simply do righteousness. That's what he wants. He just wants us to do righteousness. It's simple. The ancient path is simple. It's not some deep matter. It's not deep. Just do righteousness. Just do righteousness. Be perfect as he is perfect in righteousness. Be kadosh as he is kadosh in righteousness. This is what he desires. So there's much to say about this season. Much going on. Most are interested in the deep matter. Indeed, this path started back in the beginning of August, and many have fell off because indeed it's just too simple of a message for them. It's just too simple. Obviously, they don't desire righteousness, and they don't desire to do righteousness. And so we continue this journey of righteousness, of doing righteousness. This is the ancient path, and which one cannot do, once again, unless you are firstborn, according to the Ruach, unless you are born from above. Two manner of people, either you're born from above or born from below. Either you're firstborn according to the Ruach or firstborn according to the flesh. If we are firstborn according to the Ruach, then we're going to bear that fruit. We're going to do righteousness. We're going to do righteousness, and our walk is going to resemble our righteous Father's walk. Our walk is going to resemble the walk of Yahuwah, whom we are now looking at. We're paying close attention to his walk. We're looking how this righteous man walked, how this firstborn according to the Ruach walked this ancient path. And Mishpachah is simple. He simply did righteousness. No different than any of our righteous fathers. They simply did righteousness. They simply did righteousness. And so as we were in this, if you're taking notes, this is searching for the ancient path, and it's not hidden. It's not hidden. If he is in you and you are in him, it's not hidden. It's simple. Just do righteousness. Just do righteousness. This is the ancient path. But we're searching the walk of our ancient fathers and looking at tangible examples of how they walked the ancient path, and then ensuring that our character and our nature and our example matches theirs. That it matches theirs. But if you're taking notes, this is Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 32. Firstborn are perfect. Searching for the Ancient Path, Part 32. Firstborn are perfect. Firstborn are perfect. We're living in times, Mishpachah, no different, or actually they are worse than the times before the flood. And there's a culmination. There's a culmination that is fastly approaching the earth, and the earth is fastly approaching a season of judgment. Fastly approaching a season of judgment. The flood waters, the proverbial flood waters, are only being held back by a thin veil. They're only being held back by a thin veil, while his people are being sealed with his righteous, with his precious Ruach, are being sealed and covered by the dome, which is symbolic of Ruach. He's sealing his people, making covenants with his people, bringing his people unto himself. Those who what? Who were firstborn according to the Ruach, and who were what? Obeying the unadulterated milk of the word, doing righteousness, walking the ancient path. He is separating us, preparing us to be removed from this earth and to be delivered from the hour of trial. There's nothing new under the sun. The same thing took place before the flood, and the same thing is taking place right now. But again, those who were interested in the deep things, the deep knowledge, they perished under the waters. They perished in the waters of the flood. They perished seeking the deep things rather than obeying the simple, unadulterated milk of the word. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. And so now we're looking at the example of our righteous father, Yahakub. We're looking at his righteous example of how he walked this ancient path. And because he walked this ancient path, the everlasting covenant was renewed with him. And there were many promises and barakut spoken over him, which is to say blessings, because he conformed, because he simply obeyed the unadulterated milk of the word, walking meek and lowly and humbly before his Elohim, in submission and obedience to him, and walking upright before Elohim and men. Walking upright before Elohim and men. Last week I neglected to really touch upon the patience of Yahakub. I neglected to really speak upon the patience of Yahakub. We looked at his integrity. We looked at his meekness. We looked at his quiet, perfect nature. Indeed, only the meek are going to inherit the earth. And we looked at some things of how meek he was and really how patient he was for 20 years. For 20 years dealing with that wicked man. While he patiently waited. He patiently waited and operated in integrity and meekness while this wicked man changed his wages 10 times, and while this wicked man did all manner of wickedness to him. Yet he maintained his integrity. He maintained his meekness. He maintained his patience. He walked in covenant with his Elohim. He walked in covenant with his Elohim, displaying that what? That he had the Ruach in him. Displaying that he was firstborn according to the Ruach. Indeed, if you are indeed firstborn according to the Ruach, then you will display the requisite fruit like Yahakub, our father, did. Looking at this, let's look at Galatians, the 5th chapter. Galatians, the 5th chapter. Galatians, the 5th chapter. Galatians, the 5th chapter. 22 to 23. And we're only going to read verses 22 and through 23, a very familiar passage of scripture. We're only going to read this, and in reading this, I want you to bear in mind Yahakub and all of our righteous fathers. All of our righteous fathers, I want you to bear in mind them because they all displayed this fruit. Why? Because they were firstborn according to the Ruach and not firstborn according to the flesh. Beginning at verse 22, read, little one.
But the fruit of the Ruach is
But
love.
the fruit of the Ruach
is love.
The fruit of the Ruach, singular, the fruit of the Ruach, because all of these traits are interchangeable. It's not many, it's one. Yahuwah is Akkad. He is Akkad. And what you need to understand that the fruit of the Ruach is what? Is the very nature and character of Yahuwah. Yes, it is. He is Ruach. And this is the very nature and character of Yahuwah. And so if Yahuwah is in you, then you are to too display his nature and his character. You are to bear this self-same fruit. If you are firstborn according to the Ruach. The fruit of the Ruach is love.
Joy.
Peace. Shalom, a peace.
Patience.
This is all interchangeable. It's one fruit, all interchangeable. Yahakub was patient for 20 years with that wicked man, displaying that he indeed was firstborn according to the Ruach and not firstborn according to the flesh, who are going to perish. Read.
Kindness.
Goodness.
trustworthiness, gentleness, self-control.
self-control.
Against such there is no Torah.
Against such there is no Torah. See that word gentleness there? Now, when we look at Yahuwah, when we read the 25th chapter of Genesis of Bereshith, what did it say about Yahuwah? It said that he was a complete man. That word translates into the Abarite word Tom. What does Tom mean? Tom means to be gentle. Tom means to be meek. Tom means to be perfect. And so when we look at this fruit, this is the definition of perfect. This is what it means to be perfect, to bear the fruit of the Ruach, to walk in the Ruach, to be firstborn according to the Ruach. This is what it means to be perfect. As Yahuwah is perfect, if he is in us, if we have been reborn of Ruach, not born of flesh and of blood, but of water and of Ruach, born from the very loins of Yahuwah, as he is perfect, we are perfect, and we will walk this ancient path, which is simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word, which is the door, which will get us into the house where we will meet the head, Rosh, Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
Yahuwah showed great patience.
Yes, Yahuwah. He showed great patience. Great patience with Laban. Great patience. Demonstrating truly that he was firstborn according to the Ruach and not firstborn according to the flesh. He demonstrated this characteristic. Indeed, all of our righteous fathers demonstrated this characteristic. And when I say characteristic, I'm talking about the fruit of the Ruach. And so when I say patience, you cannot have patience without demonstrating the rest of the fruit of the Ruach. He demonstrated it all because there's only one fruit. There's only one fruit. But all of them, our righteous fathers demonstrated this fruit, the fruit of patience, the fruit of the Ruach. Read, little one.
Jubilees 19.
Jubilees chapter 19.
3 and 4.
Jubilees chapter 19. Jubilees chapter 19. Jubilees chapter 19. What verses?
3 to 4.
Verses 3 and 4. Jubilees chapter 19, verses 3 and 4. Beginning at verse 3. Read.
And in the first year of the first week in the 42nd Jubilee, Abraham returned and dwelt opposite Kabrum, that is Ka'at Abri, 2 weeks of years.
Yes.
And in the first year of the third week of this Jubilee, the days of the life of Sarah were accomplished, and she died in Kabrum.
And
Abraham went to mourn over her and bury her. And we tried him to see if his root were patient. Read. And he were not indignant in the words of his mouth.
Yes.
And he was found patient
in this. I told you all of our righteous fathers were patient. All of our righteous fathers displayed the fruit of the Ruach because they were firstborn according to the Ruach. And it behooves us to emulate their path, to emulate their walk, which you cannot do unless you have the same Ruach. Indeed, the ancient path is simple. Read, little one.
And was not disturbed.
He was found to be patient. And so this wasn't touched upon enough last week, and that is the great patience of Yahuwah. And this is a characteristic of the firstborn according to the Ruach. Firstborn according to the flesh don't have this. They don't have this. They don't have shalom. They're not gentle. They're not loving. They're not kind. They're not good. They don't have this. They're not compassionate. They don't have this fruit. And the fruit does not lie. The fruit cannot lie. Either it is a good tree or it is a bad tree. There is no in between. Either you're born from above or you're born from below. There is no in between. And if you're bearing good fruit, what does that mean? Fruit is obedience. That means that you're obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. And if you're doing that, if you're obeying the dabar, which is dalit ba'if rash, dalit meaning door, ba'if meaning house, rash meaning head, which means that the word is the door that is going to get us into the house where we will meet the head. All of our righteous fathers are going to meet the head. And if we desire to meet the head, we must walk this very same path in the very same way that they did, in meekness, in humility, in gentleness of soul, of being, patience, in love, being kind and good, walking upright before men, all men, and our Elohim, pursuing shalom with all men, and pursuing separateness, for without which no one shall see Elohim. We saw this with Yahuwah, how instead of war, he pursued shalom with Laban. He still pursued shalom with Laban. We saw this, how he pursued shalom with Esau. We saw how Yitzchak pursued shalom and separateness with Abimelech and his general and the leader of his armies. He pursued shalom with him. Shalom instead of strife. Shalom instead of strife. This is a trait and a characteristic of the firstborn, according to the Ruach. Read, little one.
For in the patience of the Ruach, he conversed with the children of Koth to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead.
He was patient. He was patient. He was patient. No different than his grandson. His grandson was no different than him because they had the same father. They were both firstborn, according to the Ruach, walking the very same ancient path, which is obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. They didn't question. They didn't question Yahuwah. They didn't say to Yahuwah, well, it's not deep enough. This matter is not deep enough. But like children, they simply obeyed the word, the mouth of their father. Simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word. Indeed, again, if Adam and Kua had simply obeyed the unadulterated milk of the word, which was one command, to not partake of the tree, the fruit of the tree, of the knowledge of good and evil, they would have had access to the tree of life. What is the tree of life? More specifically, who is the tree of life? Yahuwah is the tree of life, because only he is life. Only he is Kai. Only he is life. They would have had access to him and would have lived eternally. But they chose the deep things instead. No different than the children of Cain. They chose the deep things instead of the unadulterated milk of the word. Read, little one.
Yahuwah waited patiently.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Indeed, we see these examples all throughout the example of our ancient fathers. Indeed, if Yahuwah had been impatient, the very reason that he went to the land of Laban was because he was running from Esau. And because Abba, Yahuwah, had a plan for him. A nation was formed there. A nation of 12 sons was formed there. Whereas Esau wanted to kill him. And so by going there and in his patience, his life was preserved. His life was preserved, and there was a nation formed there. Indeed, we look at the example of Yahuwah, whom in his patience endured prison for 12 years, and whom endured harsh labor under the hand of Potiphar for a year, even though he had done nothing. He had done nothing to deserve it. But rather than speak against his brothers, in meekness, he rather take the offense. Rather than show offense to them, he took the offense upon himself in meekness and lowliness and gentleness and perfection. And he remained in prison patiently for 12 years. And in his patience, a whole nation was preserved. Indeed, Yahusha speaks these very same words in the Gospels, or in the so-called Gospels, in the Beshorah, in the Good News. He says, in your patience, and I'm paraphrasing, but in other words, in your patience, preserve your lives. In your patience, preserve your lives in these end times. In your patience, preserve your lives. And so patience is a very important cog, a very important piece to walking this ancient path. It's very important because you cannot have belief without patience, because listen, hear Abba. Abba don't come when you want him to. He's sovereign. He don't have to. He tries us. He don't come when we want him to. And so if you believe that he is sovereign, and if you believe in his word, then you will patiently wait for that which he has spoken over you. You can't have belief without patience. You can't have patience without belief. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand. Being patient will preserve our lives. Being patient is testament that we have his ruach. And being patient is testament, is a testimony, is a testament that we believe in him. That we believe in him. Patience is very important. They don't believe me. Read the next precept.
James 1:2-4.
James chapter 1, YAHUAH'S chapter 1. YAHUAH'S chapter 1. YAHUAH'S chapter 1. YAHUAH'S chapter 1, verses
2-4.
Verses 2-4. James chapter 1, verses 2-4. YAHUAH'S chapter 1, verses 2-4. Beginning at verse 2. Read, little one.
My brothers, count it all joy when you fall into various trials.
My brothers, count it all joy or gladness when you fall into various trials, knowing
that the proving of your belief.
Knowing that the proving of your belief
works patience.
Works what?
Patience.
Works what?
Patience.
So the proving of your belief works patience. Patience and belief go hand in hand. Read.
And let patience have a perfect work.
Oh, you want to be perfect, huh? Let patience have its perfect work so that
you be perfect and complete.
So that you be perfect and complete.
Lacking in naught.
Lacking in naught. See, patience is about being patient, is a part of being perfect. Being patient is synonymous with belief. Indeed, without belief, it is impossible to please him. Before we can come to him, we must first believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. Indeed, Abraham was patient. Abraham believed Yahuwah, and it was accounted to him as righteousness. He believed what? That Yahuwah was going to provide a seed from his loins through Sarah, whose womb was dead, and he who was good as dead. And he believed Yahuwah, and it was credited to him as righteousness. Did it come right away? No, he was patient for 13 years until Yitzchak was born. For 13 years. Why? Because he believed Yahuwah. Because he believed him. And because he believed him, he patiently waited for the promise in which Yahuwah had promised to him. You want to be perfect. Belief and patience go hand in hand. And so when we were reading about YAHUAH'S, we were reading about perfection. Indeed, we must be perfect. And unless we are perfect, we're not going to sing on Mount Zion. And so you want to be perfect? Patience. Patience is an active, you read on the back of different things, they talk about active ingredients. Well, patience is an active ingredient in perfection. Patience is an active ingredient in being perfect. Not to discount belief, because they go hand in hand. And so he tests us. He tests our belief, and in testing our belief, he makes us patient, and in making us patient and testing our belief, he makes us perfect. He makes us perfect. Count it all joy, my brothers, when faced with various trials, knowing that the testing of your belief produces patience. So let patience have its perfect work, so that you are perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
Romans 12:12.
Romans 12. Romain chapter 12, verse 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 12. Beginning reading at verse 12, we read,
rejoicing in the expectancy.
Rejoicing in the expectancy. Now, belief is the substance of things expected, the evidence of things not seen. Rejoicing in what?
In the expectancy.
In the expectancy. You say you believed and expected. Expected. Rejoicing in the expectancy.
Being patient in affliction.
Being patient in affliction. Being patient in affliction. Some of you are going through affliction, but you're being tested. You're being tested. So let patience have its perfect work, so that you are perfect and complete and lacking nothing. You say you believe? You say he believe he's going to deliver you? You say he believe he's going to heal you? Be patient until it comes. Be patient until it comes. All of our righteous fathers who are perfect displayed this characteristic. All of them who walked the ancient path displayed this characteristic. It is said you can't walk the ancient path without being firstborn according to the YAHUAH. You can't walk the ancient path without belief. How you going to obey something you don't believe in? You've got to believe. You've got to believe. And if you believe beyond a shadow of a doubt, hear him. If you believe beyond the shadow of a doubt, what you are reading and what YAHUAH is speaking to you, you would rather give up your life than disobey him. You would rather sacrifice your son, your Yaqid, your only begotten, your beloved son, rather than disobey him. Because if you believe him, if he says to you to sacrifice your Yaqid, your only begotten, if you believe him, you believe that even if you sacrifice your son, that he who you believe in will resurrect him. In which he received Yitzchak as a form of resurrection when he received them back. You believe. You believe. You would rather give up your life than disobey him. You would rather sacrifice your own son than disobey him. You would rather give up all rather than disobey him. You see, ain't no baggage on this ancient path, Mishpaka. Ain't no baggage on this ancient path. Those who are on this ancient path, like our righteous forefathers, have given up all. Yes, they did. They were pilgrims and sojourners in this world, looking for a homeland which was not of this world. Barak YAHUAH, being born of above. Barak YAHUAH, waiting in expectation for that homeland, for that one which is above, having no desire of this world, having no connection having no connection, not being joined or connected to this world in any way, having let all go, carrying no baggage. You can't carry no baggage on this ancient path. But Yahushua says these words, and anyone who has given up wife or husband, father or mother, child or daughter, or lands will gain that back much more, both in this life and in the life to come. And we see our righteous fathers who walked this ancient path, who had given up all to be in covenant with YAHUAH. We saw that YAHUAH had given them much. He given them much. They didn't desire those things. They simply desired YAHUAH. But YAHUAH, searching the intents and the inclinations of their heart, his eyes going to and fro across the whole world, looking for a heart that's perfect towards him. And when he finds that one, he comes to make his abode there. He comes to dwell there. And he comes to enter into covenant with that one. Because unless he has entered us, as a man enters a woman, there is no covenant made. There is no covenant made. So you can't carry no baggage on this ancient path. You got to let it all go, but he'll give it back to you. He'll give it back to you, that and more. But you can't carry no baggage here. You can't carry no baggage. The road is too narrow. It's too narrow. It's too narrow. And the rewards that he gives us are both seen and unseen. The rewards that he gives us while walking this ancient path are both the seen and the unseen. But you cannot carry any baggage walking on this ancient path, no different than our righteous forefathers. Because if you have a love for this world, then the love for the Father is not in you. Walking this ancient path are those who have given up this world, who have turned their backs to this world, and who love Yahuwah with all their heart, mind, and strength, and who are looking for a homeland, not of this world, but are mere pilgrims and sojourners in this world, waiting with anticipation and expectation for the world to come. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
Continuing steadfastly in prayer.
Continuing steadfastly in prayer. Rejoicing in expectancy. Being patient in affliction. Continuing steadfastly in prayer. There's that patient word again. Patience is a part of being perfect. And this is the characteristic and the behavior that we saw in our righteous father, Yahuwah, that we saw in Yitzchak, that we saw in Abraham, that we saw in Yahusuf, that we saw in the example of Yahusha, HaMashiach, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah.
2 Peter 3
Barak
and
Yahuwah,
9.
Barak Yahuwah. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. Kafa bat. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. Verse 9. Reading verse 9, we read.
Yahuwah is not slow in regard to the promise, as some count slowness.
Yes.
But is patient towards us.
But it's what?
But is patient towards us.
But it's what?
But is patient towards us.
But is patient towards us.
Not wishing that any should perish.
Not wishing that any should perish.
But that all should come to repentance.
But that all should come to repentance. So we're still talking about the fruit of the Ruach, which if we are firstborn according to the Ruach, then we should have this characteristic. The fruit of the Ruach, again, is the very nature and character of Yahuwah himself. He is Ruach. And so if he is in us and we are in him, then we are to have his very nature and his very character, and he himself is patient. He himself is patient. And being patient is a part of being perfect. Being patient is a part of walking this ancient path. You cannot be on this ancient path without being patient, because you cannot obey him. You cannot obey Yahuwah without being patient. One cannot obey Yahuwah in Ruach and in truth without being patient. You can't. You cannot. You cannot. Because he's not, again, going to do things when we expect them. He is sovereign. He does not have to. He doesn't work that way. He is sovereign. He does things in accordance with his appointed times. His appointed times. And if you believe, then you'll be patient. You'll be patient. And like Abraham, it will too be accredited to you as righteousness. What is righteousness? Obedience to Torah. Obedience to Torah. You can't obey him without being patient. You can't obey him without believing. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. So here we are. We're back in Genesis now.
Yahusha, chapter 2.
Barak Yahuwah. We got one more precept. One more precept.
Yes.
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. I got you. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. I'm so grateful for my Aisha.
Barak Yahuwah.
Barak Yahuwah. I am so grateful for her. She knows that. I'm so grateful for her. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. So, Abba wanted me to bring that back to your recollection, because we didn't spend enough time last week in searching for this ancient path and looking at the example of Yahuwah and looking at his great patience for 20 years, which is a trait and a characteristic of what? Of a firstborn, is of a firstborn according to the Ruach. You can't say that you're a firstborn according to the Ruach if you don't have patience. You cannot say it. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. And so continuing in the vein of Abba speaking through his servant in that he only delivers firstborn. He is only going to redeem firstborn in this season. Only the firstborn, according to the Ruach, in accordance with the Torah, is going to be redeemed from the hour of trial, and is going to be redeemed from the earth and brought to Mount Zion, where we will be giving a song that no one else can sing. He has shown us in that vein that it is the dam, the blood, the dam that seals us. He has shown us that the dam is what? Is symbolic of not only the everlasting covenant, it is the dam of the everlasting covenant, but it is also symbolic of Ruach. Indeed, it is only when the Ruach enters us, as a man enters a woman, at that point are we in covenant with Yahuwah. Are we in covenant with Yahuwah? It is the dam that delivered our forefathers from the destroyer in Mashraim. It was the dam applied to the doorpost, the dalet and the mom, the dalet meaning door and the mom symbolic of water, symbolic of Ruach. It was this that delivered our ancestors from the destroyer in Mashraim. And because he made the point again that it is only the firstborn according to the Ruach in whom the dam is for. The dam is not for. The blood is not for the firstborn according to the flesh. It is not for the sons of Cain. It is not for them because they are not under Torah. They do not subject themselves to Torah. They do not subject themselves to Yahuwah. And thus, it is Torah, only in Torah. One can only be redeemed via Torah. There is no other avenue in which mankind can be redeemed outside of Torah. There is no other avenue. And so the firstborn, according to the flesh, the sons of Cain, the dam, the blood, is not for them. The dam is not for them. The dam of the covenant is not for them. It is not for them. It is only for the firstborn, according to the Ruach, in whom the dam has been sprinkled upon, and which is symbolic of a Ruach entering us, entering our hearts, making a circumcision of the heart, the circumcision being what? A sign of the everlasting covenant between us and Yahuwah. Indeed, the word, the Abraite word for sign again is Aleph, Aleph, U, Tau, Aleph, U, and Tau. Yahuwah is the Aleph and the Tau. Yahuwah is the Aleph. Yahuwah is the beginning and the everlasting covenant. The U again represents something that joins. It represents a nail or a tent peg. And so indeed, it is this circumcision of the heart which joins us into covenant with Yahuwah. It is the circumcision. So there are many signs, Mashpaka. There is not merely one sign that joins us into covenant with Yahuwah. There are different things, different signs that join us into covenant with Yahuwah. One of which is the Shabbat day. It is a sign forever between Yahuwah and his people. Another one is the circumcision. The circumcision, read your Torah, is also a sign. A'uf, Aleph, U, Tau. It is also a sign. It is also something, a symbol, a sign that joins us into covenant with Yahuwah, the circumcision of the heart, because this is symbolic of the Ruach entering us. The dam is also a sign. It is also a sign. It is also the dam of the everlasting covenant. It is also a sign of by which we are joined into covenant with Yahuwah, because it is symbolic of Ruach. It is symbolic of Ruach. And so it is only these, no different than Mashraim, no different than the time before the flood, the firstborn according to the Ruach, who have the dumb applied, who have the circumcision of the heart, who have the Ruach. It is only these who are keeping the Shabbat day as ordained from sunrise on the Shabbat on the seventh day to sunset on the seventh day. If you're keeping it from evening to evening, then you're starting the Shabbat at an abominable time, as written in the book of Jubilees. If we keep his appointed times and at any day other than the appointed day, then that day is an abominable day. Those who are keeping the Shabbat as intended, this is a sign forever. This joins us into everlasting covenant with Yahuwah, guarding the Shabbat as he guards the Shabbat and as his messengers guard the Shabbat even still today. Barak Yahuwah. And so continuing this vein, turn to Joshua chapter 2. Yahusha chapter 2. Yahusha chapter 2. Joshua chapter 2. And it's only these who are joined to him in covenant, who are covenant children, who are covenant sons and daughters. It is only these who are not only going to be redeemed, but it is only these who are truly walking the ancient path in meekness and humility and gentleness, simply obeying the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Joshua chapter 2, Yahusha chapter 2, beginning at verse 1, and we're going to read the entire chapter. Beginning at verse 1, read, little one.
And Yahusha, son of Nun, secretly sent out 2 men from Shittim to spy, saying, Go see the land in Jericho. And they went and came to the house of a woman, a whore, and her name was Rachab, and they lay down there. But it was reported to the sovereign of Jericho, saying, See, men from the children of Yasharal have come here tonight to search out the land. And the sovereign of Jericho sent to Rachab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hid them. So she said, The men came to me, but I did not know where they came from. Then it came to be as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly so that you overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid out on the roof. And the men pursued them by the way to the Yarden, to the fords. And they shut the gate afterwards as soon as the pursuers had gone out. And before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof. And she said to the men, I know that Yahuwah has given you the land.
I know that Yahuwah has given you the land. And some of you are saying, well, this woman was a whore. Oh, without belief, it is impossible to please him. Before we can come to him, we must first believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them who diligently seek him. This is Rachab. This is Rachab. And you see, one cannot come to Yahuwah unless they be drawn. She believed, and she was drawn to him. Read, little one.
And that the fear of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. For we have heard how Yahuwah dried up the water of the Sea of Reeds for you when you came out of Mitzrayim, and what you did to the 2 sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Yarden, Shikun and Og, whom you put under the ban. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no root left in anyone because of you. For Yahuwah, your Elohim, he is Elohim in the heavens.
Oh, above. No one can say that but under the inspiration of the Ruach HaKadosh. I pray you're listening. No one can speak that way unless they are under the inspiration of the Ruach HaKadosh. Read.
He is Elohim in the heavens above and on earth beneath. And now please swear to me by Yahuwah, since I have shown you loving commitment, that you also show loving commitment to my father's house, and shall give me a true token, and shall spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters, and all that they have, and shall deliver our lives from death. And the men said to her, Our lives for yours. If you do not expose this matter of ours, then it shall be. When Yahuwah has given us us the land that we shall treat you in loving commitment and truth. So she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the city wall, and she dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, go to the mountain, lest the pursuers come upon you, and you shall hide there 3 days until the pursuers have returned, and afterwards go on your way. And the men said to her,
Listen, read.
We are released from this oath of yours, which you have made us swear, unless when we come into the land, you bind this line of scarlet cord.
You bind this line of scarlet cord in the window. Read.
Through which you let us down. And unless you bring your father and your mother and your brothers and all your father's household to your own home. And it shall be that anyone who goes outside the doors of your house into the streets, his blood is on his own head, and we are innocent. And anyone who is with you in the house, his blood is on our head if a hand is laid on him. And if you expose this matter of ours, then we shall be released from the oath which you made us swear. And she said, let it be according to your words. And she sent them away, and they went. And she bound the scarlet cord in the window. So they left and came to the mountain and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers returned. And the pursuers sought them in all the way, but did not find them. Then the 2 men returned and came down from the mountain and passed over. And they came to Yahusha, son of Nun, and related to him all that had befallen them. And they said to Yahusha, truly Yahuwah has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land have melted away because of us.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Somebody saying, how can a whore be firstborn according to the flesh, be firstborn according to the Ruach? Where she was. That scarlet, she was sealed by the dumb. That scarlet cord representative of the dumb, she was sealed by the dumb. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. She lived right on the wall. How can one explain her being right on the wall and all of the walls falling down except her house? She was sealed by the dumb. Indeed, all of the firstborn according to the flesh perished in Yahuwah. But that one firstborn according to the Ruach, having that scarlet cord being sealed by the dumb, she was delivered. Both her and her household. She was delivered. Barak Yahuwah. She later on settled in the land of Yasha'al. She later on settled, that firstborn according to the Ruach. She later on settled in the land of Yasha'al and married a man by the name of Salmon. Through Salmon, she bore Boaz. In this line, in this righteous lineage, is the line of not only sovereign Dawood, but the Hamashiach, Yahushua Hamashiach himself. She was firstborn according to the Ruach, and she was delivered. And she was delivered. Only those who are firstborn according to the Ruach are going to be saved. I'm reminded of the tassels that we wear, the scarlet cord and the purple cord and the blue cord that we wear as tzitzits, which is indicative, these very same colors being the colors that are on the tabernacle, reminding us that we are living tabernacles, reminding us that not only that we are living tabernacles, but like the tabernacle, we are what? We are sealed and kadush by the dumb. We are sealed. We are sealed by the Ruach. Was not the tabernacle and both the temple sealed by the dumb? Yes, they were. Everything in it was covered by the dumb. Yes, it was. Everything in it was anointed by the oil, by the anointing of the Ruach HaKadosh. And so we are reminded that we are living tabernacles and that we are sealed by the dumb, provided that you are firstborn according to the Ruach. If you are just firstborn according to the flesh, then you are merely wearing these tzitzits as part of the letter. And the letter gonna kill you because only the Ruach gives life. But if you are reminded that you are a living tabernacle, that the Ruach HaKadosh lives in you, that you are sealed by the dumb, that this scarlet cord on this tzitzit represents the sealing of the dumb, that this blue cord represents the blood in the body. As long as the blood is in the body, the life of the creature is the dumb. As long as the blood is in the body, it is blue. And we shall live. And we shall live. We are reminded by the purple that if we endure, that if we overcome, we shall reign with him. We shall reign with our sovereign, because as he is royalty, as he is sovereign, as we are his children, we shall reign with him. We shall reign with him. Barak Yahuwah, only the firstborn, according to the Ruach, are going to live. Only the firstborn, according to the Ruach, are going to be redeemed from the hour of trial that is soon to come upon the earth. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Continuing, looking at the example of our righteous father, Yahakub, looking at this firstborn, according to the flesh, according to the Ruach, forgive me, Abba, according to the Ruach, looking at his example. We're going to continue now, following his footsteps, looking at his walk, taking notes in how he handled situations, and how looking at his relationship with Abba, looking at his relationship with fellow men, and looking to align our lives with his, and in aligning our walks in our lives with his, we are indeed aligning our lives with Yahuwah, because he was a son of the rain. He was firstborn according to the Ruach. And if we too are firstborn according to the Ruach, then our lives will reflect his. Our walk will reflect his. So looking at Genesis, going back to the book of Genesis, chapter 35.
Is it 34?
34?
34.
Chapter 34. Barashif, chapter 34. Chapter 34. There was many nuggets in looking at his walk last week, and one of them, Yahuwah had his servant expound upon a little more, and that was patience, his great patience. But let's look closely now at his walk, and let's allow Yahuwah to continue to teach us how to walk this ancient path through the example of our righteous fathers. Barak Yahuwah. Barashif, Genesis chapter 34. Barashif, Genesis chapter 34. Beginning at verse 1, we read,
And Dinah, the daughter of Laah, whom she had borne to Yaakub, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shacham, son of Kamor, the Kiwit, prince of the land, saw her and took her and lay with her and humbled her.
See, this is why it is important to what? To wherefore come out from among them, be ye separate, touch not the unclean thing, and he will receive us. We must separate from them. We must not, daughters, you must not go out to and be curious about the daughters of the land and what they are doing. You must be separate. You must be separated. You must make a distinction between the clean and the unclean. This is what happens when we go to mingle with the heathen. Read.
And his being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakub, and he loved the girl and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shacham spoke to his father Kamor, saying, Take this girl for me for a wife. And Yaakub heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Yaakub kept silent until they came. And Kamor, the father of Shacham, went out to Yaakub to speak with him. And the sons of Yaakub came in from the field when they heard it. And the men were grieved and very wroth, because he had done a senseless deed in Yasharal by lying with Yaakub's daughter, which should not be done. But Kamor spoke with them, saying, My son Shacham, being longs for your daughter, please give her to him for a wife, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves, and dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possession in it. And Shacham said to her father and her brothers, Let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I give. Ask of me a bride price and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me. But give me the girl for a wife. But the sons of Yaakub answered Shacham and Kamor his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had devoured Dinah their sister. And they said to them, We are not able to do this matter, to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. Only on this condition will we agree to you. If you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised, then we shall give our daughters to you, and take your daughters to us.
Now, the text says that they acted with deceit. But I'm reminded of the words of the Hamashiach. Behold, I send you amongst wolves. Wherefore, be as cockam as serpents. Be as wise as serpents. Be as cautious as serpents. Be as wise as a serpent, and be as humble as doves. Be as humble as doves. Now, when we read in the book of Jubilees, it says that this, what they did, was ordained by Yahuwah. It was ordained by Yahuwah. Some of you don't understand yet that he will displace kingdoms for our sake. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. He will displace kingdoms for our sakes. He will move heaven and earth for the sake of his firstborn. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. And what they did was a wicked and grievous thing against the daughter of Yashar'al, and they were going to pay for it. They were going to pay for what they did, and they did pay a heavy price. Read, little one.
And we shall dwell with you, and you shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us and be circumcised, we shall take our daughter and go. And these words pleased Kamor and Shechem, Kamor's son. And the young man did not delay to do this because he delighted in Yaakov's daughter.
Now, I failed to mention that via a commandment of Abraham, well, it came through Abraham from Yahuwah, where he commanded his son Yitzchak, and Yitzchak commanded Yaakov to what? To not mix with the people of the land. And so no doubt his sons were taught the same thing, but they acted cleverly towards these people so as to be used as a scepter, to be used as a punishing rod to punish these heathen for what they had done to a daughter of Yashar'al, to a daughter of Zion. Read, little one.
Now he was more respected than all the household of his father. And Kamor and Shechem his son came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, These men are at Shalom with us. So let them dwell in the land and move about in it. And see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on this condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people. If every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised, their herds and their possessions and all their beasts, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them and let them dwell with us. And all who went out of the gate of his city listened to Kamor and Shechem his son. Every male was circumcised, all who went out of the gate of this city. And it came to be on the third day, when they were in pain, that the two sons of Yaakov, Shimeon and Lewi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males. And they killed Kamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Yaakov came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister.
Again, this was ordained by Yahuwah. In the book of Jubilees, in the book of Jubilee, it reads that this act is forever established on the tablets in heaven. That whenever a heathen does this, or whenever anyone does this, they are to die. They are to die. This is forever established on the tablets in Shamayim. Read, little one.
They took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in the house. And Yaakov said to Shimeon and Lewi, You have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am few in number. They shall gather themselves against me and shall strike me, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they said, Should he treat our sister like a whore?
Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Forever established on the tablets in heaven. This Yahuwah did not hold this against them. He did not hold this against them, but rather he considered this to be a righteous act. He considered it to be a righteous act, and he forever ordained it on the tablets in Shamayim, that if a heathen took a daughter of Zion in this way, then that person was to die. That person was to die. Chapter 35. Genesis chapter 35. Beginning at verse 1. Read, little one.
And Elohim said to Yaakov, Arise, go up to Ba'it All, and dwell there. and make a slaughter place there to all who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Ashu your brother. And Yaakov said to his household and to all who were with him, put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you.
Now, Yaakov said to his household, put away the foreign mighty ones that are among you. Now, you need to bear in mind that he just destroyed the city of Shechem, and they took captive little ones and daughters and little sons. They took captive many, and they no doubt brought many mighty ones with them. They no doubt brought many mighty ones with them. Now, Rachel also buried her mighty ones that were not her mighty ones, but the mighty ones of her father that she had taken from him and which he used to divine with. But we need to rightly divide that they had taken a bunch of captives here who no doubt had many mighty ones among them. Read, little one.
And cleanse yourselves and change your garments.
And cleanse yourselves and change your garments, because you're getting ready to come and meet Yahuwah. You cannot come to meet Yahuwah with dirt and uncleanness upon you. You must come to him the right way. You must come to him clean, making a distinction between the clean and the unclean, having your garments washed. You cannot come to him any kind of way. And this is reminiscent, and this should strike a note to those as we approach the Pasach season. You cannot partake of his offerings, and you cannot come before him with uncleanness on you. You must wash your garments by the washing of the word via his precious Ruach HaKadosh, Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
And let us arise and go up to buy eat all, and let me make there a slaughter place to all who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone. So they gave Yaakov all the foreign mighty ones which were in their hands, and all their earrings which were in their ears. And Yaakov hid them under the terebinth tree which was near Shechem. And they departed, and the fear of Elohim was upon the cities that were all around them, and they did not pursue the sons of Yaakov.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. I pray that you understand. Listen, you cannot approach Yahuwah. You cannot come to him bearing uncleanness. You cannot come to him that way. What is uncleanness? Anything that's contrary to Torah. Unrighteousness is uncleanness. Torahlessness, walking contrary to Torah, not obeying the pure, unadulterated milk of the word, having that uncleanness on you. You can't approach him with uncleanness on you. This is the importance of walking this ancient path. If we are properly walking the ancient path, we're not bearing uncleanness on us. We are obeying the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. And guess what? That's going to lead us to meeting him at Mount Zion. That's going to lead us to meeting him at Mount Zion. There's nothing new under the sun. As our ancestors fled, were delivered from Egypt the first time, but prior to that, as Moshe was speaking to Yahuwah on the mountain, and he says that this is the sign, that when you have brought my people out of Egypt, that you will worship me on this mountain. You will worship me on this mountain. If you recall in the 19th chapter of Exodus, what did they have to do? They had to wash themselves. They had to cleanse themselves. They had to separate themselves before Yahuwah came in the next chapter, and chapter 20, when the mountain smoked and burned and it turned to char and it shook and a great sound of a shofar was blowing. They had to cleanse themselves. They had to separate themselves. His words to Moshe was to go down and separate the people. You cannot come to him. You cannot come to him with uncleanness on him. But indeed, there's nothing new under the sun as he delivers his people from Egypt, his firstborn, according to the Ruach again from Egypt this time. This is going to be the sign on Mount Zion, not Mount Sinai, but on Mount Zion. We shall come there and worship before him. There's nothing new under the sun. But we must be clean. We must be washed. We must be purged. We must be clean. We must be perfect. This is the only way to meet him. This is the only way to see him. Now hear it by Eve all, which is to say what? The house of Elohim. By eat meaning house. All meaning Elohim. By eat all meaning house of Elohim. He gives the command to separate the people before you meet me in my house. Separate the people. Have them Put away their mighty ones, their foreign mighty ones. Have them bury them. Have them wash themselves. Have them cleanse themselves. You can't come to meet me any kind of way. Have them wash themselves before they come to meet me. Read, little one.
And Yaakov came to Lut, that is by All, which is in the land of Canaan, he and all the people who were with him. And he built there a slaughter place and called that place All by All, because there Elohim appeared to him when he fled from the face of his brother. And Deborah, Rapka's nurse, died, and she was buried below by All under the terebinth tree. So the name of it was called Aliyun Bakuth. And Elohim appeared to Yaakov again when he came from Padam Aram and blessed him. And Elohim said to him, your name is Yaakov. Your name is no longer called Yaakov, but Yasharal is your name. So he called his name Yasharal. And Elohim said to him, I am Al Shaddai. Be fruitful and increase. A nation and a company of nations shall be from you, and sovereigns come from your body. And the land which I gave Abraham and Ishak I give to you, and to your seed after you I give this land. And Elohim went up from him in that place where he had spoken with him.
Barak Yahuwah. Right. Here is another characteristic of firstborn according to the Ruach. Yahuwah speaks. He speaks to us. He speaks to us, and he comes and he appears and he communes with the firstborn according to the Ruach. This began in the garden with Adam. Yes, it did. It began with him. When he would come in the cool of the evening and commune with them and speak with them and walk in the garden. But something else I want to draw to you, when he's speaking to him, be fruitful and multiplying here, he is renewing the everlasting covenant here with Yaakov, and whom he only renews and makes with firstborn sons. This is the same everlasting covenant that he made with Adam when he said what? Be fruitful and multiply and subdue and replenish the earth. That's the same everlasting covenant that he renewed with Noach when he said the same thing, when he renewed the everlasting covenant with him on Shabuah. When he said, be fruitful and multiply and increase and subdue and replenish the earth. This same everlasting covenant here is being renewed with another firstborn son, Yaakov, when he repeats the very same word, be fruitful and multiply and increase. He only renews his covenant with firstborn sons by the entering of his Ruach HaKadosh, which makes us firstborn sons according to the Ruach. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. Read, little one.
And Yaakov set up a standing column in the place where he had spoken with him, a monument of stone. And he poured a drink offering on it, and he poured oil on it. And Yaakov called the name of the place where Elohim spoke with him by All. Then they set out for All, and it came to be, when they were but a little distance to go to Ephrath, that Rachel began to give birth. Hold up just a second. We see another trait here in a firstborn according to the Ruach, in that what? He worships these stones, these monuments, these altars are altars of worship, or altars of offering, or offerings of sacrifice. Firstborn according to the Ruach, we worship him, we reverence him, we praise him. We send up offerings as a sweet smelling aroma unto him. We bring him ascending offerings. We bring him grain offerings. We bring him wave offerings. We bring him shalom and thank offerings. We pour out drink offerings unto him as we are being poured out as a drink offering unto him. And we ascend as a sweet smelling aroma unto him, well satisfying unto him. This is another trait and characteristic of firstborn according to the Ruach. This is the ancient path. Read, little one. Rachel began to give birth and had great difficulty giving birth. And it came to be, as she was having great difficulty giving birth, that the midwife said to her, do not fear, for it is another son for you. And it came to be, as her life was going out, for she died, that she called his name Ben-Oni.
Banyamin. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
But his father called him Banyamin.
Banyamin.
So Rachel died and was buried on the way to Ephrath, that is by Lakam. And Yaakov set a standing column on her burial place, which is the monument of Rachel burial place to this day. And Yasharal set out and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Adar. And it came to be when Yasharal dwelt in that land that Ra-Aban went and lay with Balha, his father's concubine. And Yasharal heard about it. Now the sons of Yaakub were 12.
Here, Ra-Aban now represents, he was the firstborn. But Ra-Aban also represents what? The firstborn according to the flesh. Because he went and he laid with his wife, his father's half-wife, Balha. Now he laid with her, as we find out by reading the testament of the 12 patriarchs. He laid with her because he was wroth with his father, because rather than go in and to lay with his mother La'ah, he went in to the maidservant of Rachel, who was Bal'ah, and laid with her. But what we see here is someone acting according to the flesh. So Ra-Aban, who was indeed firstborn, acted as the firstborn according to the flesh. And from there, the firstborn Barakah, the inheritance passed from him to Yahusha, to Joseph, who was firstborn according to the Ruach. It passed from Ra-Aban to Joseph. Joseph being in every way, in every matter, being just like Yaakov. He was like Yaakov in every way, and we're going to read about him, maybe not today, but we're going to read about Yahusha as well, who was firstborn according to the Ruach, and who was in every way like his father Yaakov. In every way like his father Yaakov. Same character, same nature, in every way, same father, because he had the same Ruach. In every way, he was like his father Yaakov, and thus having the very same nature and character of a firstborn according to the Ruach, which is to have the very same nature and character of Yahuwah himself. Read, little one.
The sons of La'ah were Ra-Aban, Yaakov's firstborn, and Shamaun, and Lewi, and Yehuda, and Yishakar, and Zabulun. The sons of Rachel were Yehusaf and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's female servant, were Dan and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, La'ah's female servant, were Gad and Asher. These were the sons of Yaakov, who were born to him in Padam Aram. And Yaakov came to his father Ishak at Mamrah, or Karith Abra, that is Kabrum, where Abraham and Ishak had dwelt. And the days of Ishak were 180 years. So Ishak breathed his last and died, and was gathered to his people, aged and satisfied of days. And his sons Ashu and Yaakov buried him. Now,
what this doesn't tell us, what the so-called apocryphal books or hidden books fill in the spaces to tell us, was that Yitzchak didn't die right away, but that Yaakov went to see him, and that Yaakov went to dwell with his father, that Yaakov went to take care of his father, that Yaakov obeyed the Torah, and that is to honor your father and your mother so that your days in the land will be long. And so he honored his father. He honored his mother. Even when he was away, he would send flocks. He would send herds. He would send honey. He would send bread to his mother and his father to provide for them and take care of them, showing that he was what? That he was firstborn according to the Ruach, whereas the firstborn according to the flesh, Ashu, or commonly called Esau, went to Mount Seir and did not even come to see his father, did not come to check on his father, did not send provision to his father, acting just like a son of Cain, acting just like the son of Cain in whom he was. Just acting just like him. And so here it doesn't feel in that space that he did not die right away, but that Yaakov actually dwelled with him a while, and that he honored his father, that he honored his mother in the way that a firstborn according to the Ruach does. But Ishak, his father, again, was another firstborn according to the Ruach, whereas Ishmael was the firstborn according to the flesh. And Ishak was in every way like his father Abraham. In every way was he like him. In every way was he like his father Abraham. He did not act in any way contrarily to his father Abraham in any way. He was just like him, a firstborn according to the flesh. In the same way, Yaakov was just like his father Ishaq and just like his grandfather Abraham. He was just like him. He had the very same nature and the very same character. He walked in the same way in which they walked. He walked in the very same way in which Noah walked, in which Shem walked, in which Eber walked, in which Methuselah and Kanuk walked, in which all of the righteous ancient fathers going down to Adam walked. They walked in the very same way, having the very same nature and the very same character, and that is to what? 1, be born of Ruach, and 2, to obey the unadulterated, simple milk of the word. Simple. The unadulterated, simple milk of the word. Whatever my Father says to do is what I am going to do. Obeying every word that proceeds from his mouth. To not turn to the right or to the left from what he tells me to do. And his commands are not burdensome. They are light. They are not the ways of the heathen seeking the deep things are burdensome. But simply obeying the unadulterated milk of the word, the simple, unadulterated Torah, the Debar, is simple. It's simple. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. And all of them walked the very same path. And all of them had the very same nature and the very same character, which is the very same nature and character of Yahuwah himself. Barak Yahuwah. Chapter 36. Chapter 36. How are we looking for time, little one?
131.
Barak Yahuwah. Chapter 36. We may end here. We may not. We'll let the Ruach lead. Chapter 36. Barak Yahuwah. Genesis chapter 36. Beginning at verse 1.
Read this little genealogy.
Oh, Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah.
This is the genealogy of Ashu, who is Adum. Ashu took his wives from the daughters of Canaan. Ada, the daughter of Alum, the Kittite, and Olabamah, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zeba on the Kawit, and Basmath, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nabaoth. And Ada bore Eliphaz to Ashu, and Basmath bore Ra'ual. And Oholibah bore Yaush, and Yalam, and Korach. These were the sons of Ashu who were born to him in the land of Canaan. And Ashu took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the beings of his household, and his herds, and all his beasts, and all his possessions, which he had gained in the land of Canaan, and went to a land away from the presence of his brother Yaakov, for their possessions were too great for them to dwell together, and the land of their sojournings could not support them because of their herds. So Ashu dwelt in Mount Seir. Ashu is Adum. And this is the genealogy of Ashu, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. These were the names of Ashu's son: Eliphaz, son of Adah, wife of Ashu, and Ra'u's son of Basmath, wife of Ashu. And the sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zuphu, and Gatam, and Kanaz. And Timnah was the concubine of Eliphaz, Ashu's son, and she bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These were the sons of Adah, Ashu's wife. These were the sons of Ra'ual, Nakath, and Zarach, Shammah, and Mazak. These were the sons of Basmath, Ashu's wife. These were the sons of Oholibah, Ashu's wife, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zeb-On, and she bore to Ashu Yeush, and Yalam, and Korach. These were the chiefs of the sons of Ashu. The sons of Eliphaz, the firstborn son of Ashu, were Chief Taman, Chief Omar, Chief Shaphu, Chief Kanaz, Chief Korach, Chief Gatam, Chief Amalek. These were the chiefs of Eliphaz in the land of Adum. They were the sons of Adah. And these were the sons of Ra'ual, Ashu's son, Chief Nakath, Chief Zarach, Chief Shammah, and Chief Mazah. These were the chiefs of Ru'al in the land of Adum. These were the sons of Basmath, Ashu's wife. And these were the sons of Oholibah, Ashu's wife, chief Yahush, chief Yalam, chief Karak. These were the chiefs descending from Ohabamah, Ashu's wife, the daughter of Anah. These were the sons of Ashu, who is in Adam, and these were their chiefs. These were the sons of Sair, the Korite, who inhabited the land Lotan, and Shabul, and Zebun, and Anah, and Dashun, and Atzer, and Dashan. These were the chiefs of the Korites, the son of Sair, in the land of Adum. And the sons of Lotan were Korah and Haman. Latan's sister was Timnah, and these were the sons of Shabal, Alwan, and Manakath, and Abal, Shifo, and Amnon. And these were the sons of Shabeun, both Aya and Anah. These were Anah, who found the waters in the wilderness as he fed the donkeys of his father Zabaun.
If you read the book of Jasher, give Ashiah a little break, and you doing a wonderful job. You doing awesome, little one. You are. I know your struggle. I know the struggle, but you're doing awesome. Barak Yahuwah. This is the Zephu. Zephu. When you read the book of Jasher, it mentions it here, but it doesn't fill in the blanks. This is the Zephu who found these beasts in the wilderness that were half men and half beasts. They were man above and beast below, having the legs of beasts and man above. This has been going on since the time before the flood, the mixing of DNA, and it continues to go on today. But this is the importance of reading those so-called apocryphal books, those so-called hidden books, because they do fill in blanks that you wouldn't ordinarily know from reading the traditional 66. Now, you would not derive that information from just reading this, but there's a reason that the text here mentions that this is the Zephu who was feeding the donkeys in the wilderness. You have to then go to Jasher to fill in those blanks when it talks about these beasts, these demons, these half men and half beasts riding in on the clouds, or coming in and setting on the backs of these asses, on these beasts, and riding off into the wilderness. But you won't get that from reading the traditional 66. Barak Yahuwah, where we at, little one?
Okay, as far as the time, okay. And these were the children of Anah, Dashun, Ohad, Labamah, the daughter of Anah. And these were the sons of Dashun, Kadman, and Ashban, and Yathran, and Karan. These were the sons of Atzer, Bilhan, and Za'awan, and Kanwan. These were the sons of Dashan, Uz, and Aran. These were the chiefs of the Korites, chief Lotan, chief Shabal, chief Zibiun, chief Anah, chief Dashun, chief Atzar, and chief Dashan. These were the chiefs of the Korites according to their chiefs in the land of Sair. And these were the sovereigns who reigned in the land of Adum before any sovereign reigned over the children of Yasharel. And Bela, the son of Baor, reigned in Adum, and the name of his city was Dan Hakabah. And Bela died, and Yabab, son of Zakrak of Batsra, reigned in his place. And Yabadad died, and Kashum of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. And Cusham died, and Hadad, son of Badad, who struck Midian in the field of Moabab, reigned in his place. And the name of his city was Awith. And Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrak reigned in his place. And Samlah died, and Shaul of Rakabuth by the river reigned in his place. And Shaul died, and Baal Canaan, son of Akbor, reigned in his place. And Baal Canaan, son of Akbor, died, and Hadar reigned in his place. And the name of his city was Pau, and his wife's name was Maha Tabal, the daughter of Matrad, the daughter of Mazahab. And these were the names of the chiefs of Asu according to their clans and their places by their names: Chief Timnah, Chief Alwa, Chief Yathath, Chief Ohabamah, Chief Allah, Chief Panun, Chief Kanaz, Chief Taman, Chief Mitzar, Chief Magadal, Chief Aram. These were the chiefs of Adum according to their dwelling places in the land of their possessions. Asu was the father of the Edomites.
Barak Yahuwah. You did very well, little one. I know you did. Was y'all, listen, Ms. Parker, was y'all praying for Mother Ashiah? She was reading. Was y'all praying for her? What y'all praying for? Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. She did well. She did well. Barak Yahuwah. Now, if you want to amuse yourself, go back and do a genealogy search of these people, and what you're going to find is that they're all firstborn according to the flesh, and all of them were wicked. Every single one of them was wicked. These wicked men, because they came from the loins of Esau. They came from the loins of Esau, who was the firstborn according to the flesh, who represents a long line of firstborn according to the flesh, inclusive of Nimrod. Nimrod was who? Was the firstborn son of Cush. He was the 13th from Adam, 13 being the number of rebellion. His very name, Nimrod and Namrud, means rebellion. And so he too was firstborn according to the flesh, going all the way back to Cain, who was firstborn according to the flesh. So all of these men were wicked. All of these men were wicked. So if you want to amuse yourself, go back and read. One of them that you may find interesting is Amalek. We read about Amalek. This is how sovereign Saul, or sovereign Shaul, lost his crown, because he refused to obey the voice of Yahuwah and completely wipe out Amalek because of what they did to our people when they first came out of Egypt. They were wicked folk. They were wicked folk. All of these Edomites, all of these firstborn according to the flesh are wicked people. This is how you know them, by their fruits. They're wicked. They're wicked, and their works are according to the flesh and not according to the Ruach. Barak Yahuwah. Barak Yahuwah. What's the next chapter, little one? I think we're going to read one more chapter. We're going to shut this down.
37.
Chapter 37. Chapter 37, and I'm fairly certain we're going to shut down after this. Barashee for Genesis chapter 37. Beginning at verse 1.
And Yaakov dwelt in the land of his father's sojournings, in the land of Canaan. This is the genealogy of Yaakov. Yahusuf, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers. Firstborn according to the Ruach. He was in every way like his father Yaakov, and in every way like his grandfather Yitzchak, and in every way like his great-grandfather Abraham. You see, if we claim fellowship with these men, then our walk has to mirror theirs. All firstborn are what? They're perfect, and they look alike. All firstborn look alike. All firstborn have the very same character, very same nature, and we're all walking the very same ancient path, obeying the unadulterated, the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Period. Read, little one. And the young man was with the sons of Bilhah and the sons of Zilpah, his father's wife. And Yahusuf brought an evil report of them to his father. And Yasharel loved Yahusuf. And Yasharel loved Yahusuf. And Yasharel loved Yahusuf. Why? Because he was like him. Out of all of his sons, Yahusuf was most like him. He was the firstborn according to the Ruach. This is the same way that Abraham loved Yaakov. His love was not upon Ashua Esau. He loved Yaakov because in every way Yaakov was like him. Read, little one. And Yasharel loved Yahusuf more than all his children. Now this is going to come into play as we start to read about Yahusuf and start to read about his character and his nature, understanding that he was just like Yaakov. And so when we read about Yahusuf, you should have the understanding that I'm reading about Yahusuf, but Yaakov, his father, was the same way, was the exact same way. Read, little one. Because he was a son of his old age, and he made him a long robe. But when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him and were not able to speak peaceably to him. So Yahusuf dreamed a dream and told it to his brothers. So they hated him even more. And he said to them, please listen to this dream which I have dreamed. See, we were binding sheaves in the midst of the field, and see, my sheaf rose up and also stood up. And see, your sheaves stood all around and bowed down to my sheaf. And his brothers said to him, shall you indeed reign over us? Shall you indeed rule over us? Indeed, he is firstborn. This is these dreams about not only him being a sovereign in Egypt. This is what this is depicting. But he is also firstborn. He is first among his brothers. He gets the inheritance. He is the firstborn according to the Ruach. Thus his name, Yahusuf, means what? Yahuwah has added.
Indeed, I'm going to make you as the stars of the Shamayim. I'm going to, so be fruitful and multiply, and I'm going to make you as the stars of the Shamayim. Yahuwah has added to this, has added to what he has spoken over Yahuwah through Yahusuf, who is just like Yahuwah in every way. And from Yahusuf, meaning Yahuwah has added, and we're going to get to that later on, it passed to Ephraim, to Ephraim, which means what? Doubly fruitful. His name means doubly fruitful. The covenant then passed to him as firstborn according to the Ruach. And he was just like his father. Same nature, same character. These covenant, the everlasting covenant is only renewed with people like this. It's only renewed with people like this, having this very same nature and character and walking this ancient path, obeying the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Read, little one.
So they hated him even more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed still another dream and related it to his brothers and said, see, I have dreamed another dream, and see, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bow down to me. And he related it to his father and his brothers. And his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall we, your mother and I, and your brothers indeed come to bow down to the earth before you? And his brothers envied him, but his father guarded the words.
But his father guarded the words, pondered upon the words, because he was a man of Chakma. He was a man of wisdom. He was a firstborn son. He did not merely just discard this thing like a firstborn according to the flesh would do. No, he pondered on it and he guarded this word. He safely kept. To guard means to akin to a soldier, an armed soldier guarding something precious, or guarding a treasure, day and night guarding that thing and willing to give up his life before he allows that thing to be captured, akin to what? To guarding the Shabbat day. He guarded this thing. He guarded this word. He pondered upon it. And he didn't merely just cast it away. Firstborn sons don't do that. This is why it is written, do not despise prophecy. See, a firstborn son would not despise prophecy. He may not agree with it right away, but he will use chakma and discernment. He will guard it until Yahuwah either confirms it or he does not confirm it. Read, little one.
And his brothers went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Yasharal said to Yahusuf, are not your brothers feeding the flock in Shechem? Come and I send you to them. So he said to him, here I am. And he said to him, please go and see if it is well with your brothers and well with the sheep, and bring back word to me. So he sent him out of the valley of Kabroon, and he went to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and see, he was wandering in the field.
Once again, if you read the book of Jasher, this certain man was a messenger. He wasn't just a man, he was a messenger. Read, little one.
And the man asked him, saying, what do you seek? And he said, I am seeking my brothers. Please inform me where they are feeding their sheep. And the man said, they have left here, for I heard them say, let us go towards Dothan. So Yahusuf went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. And they saw him from a distance, and before he came near them, they plotted against him to kill him. And they said to each other, see, this master of dreams is coming. Now then come and let us now kill him and throw him into some pit, and shall say some wild beast has devoured him. Let us then see what comes of his dreams. But Ra'uban heard and rescued him from their hands and said, let us not strike his being. And Ra'uban said to them, shed no blood, throw him into this pit which is in the wilderness, and do not lay a hand on him, in order to rescue him out of their hands and bring him back to his father. So it came to be, when Yahusuf had come to his brothers, that they stripped Yahusuf of his robe, the long robe which was on him, and they took him and threw him into a pit.
Do you understand that Yahusuf also, just like all of the firstborn, was a foreshadowing of the Hamashiach? Yes, he was. He gave his life. He went down to Egypt. He went down into a pit, and he went down to Egypt, just like the Hamashiach went down into Egypt. But he suffered. He suffered in Egypt so that what? So that the rest could live. So that the rest could live. He suffered so that the rest could live. He was a foreshadowing of the Hamashiach, and he was in every way like the Hamashiach in terms of his nature and his character. Read, little one.
And the pit was empty. There was no water in it. And they sat down to eat a meal. And they lifted their eyes and looked, and saw a company of Yashma'alites coming from Gilad with their camels, bearing spices and balm and myrrh, going to take them down to Mitzrayim. And Yehudah said to his brothers, what will we gain if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him to the Yashmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our flesh. And his brothers listened. And men Midianite traders passed by, so they pulled Yehusaf up and lifted him out of the pit and sold him to the Yashmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. And they took Yehusaf to Mitzrayim. And Rehoboam returned to the pit, and see, Yehusaf was not in the pit, and he tore his garments. And he returned to his brothers and said, the boy is gone, and where am I to go? So they took Yehusaf's robe, slew a male goat, and dipped the robe in blood, and sent the long robe and brought it to their father and said, we have found this. Please look, is it the robe of your son or not? And he recognized it and said, it is my son's robe. An evil beast has devoured him. Yehusaf is torn to pieces. And Yaakov tore his garments and put sackcloth on his waist and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters arose to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, now let me go down into Shaul to mourn to my son in mourning. So his father wept for him. And the Midianites had sold him in Mitzrayim to Potiphar, an officer of Parah, a captain of the guard.
Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. We're going to stop here, but Yahuwah willing, next week we're going to continue this walk, but we're going to begin to look at the character and the nature of Yehusaf, which mirrors the character and the nature of Yaakov, and which mirrors the character and nature of Yitzchak, and which mirrors the character and the nature of Abraham. They all had the very same character and nature: meek men, gentle men, quiet men, humble men, men of patience, men of integrity, and more importantly, men who were born of Ruach, being firstborn according to the Ruach, and men who obeyed the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Now, when we get into the book of Jubilees, because we're going to venture into the book of Jubilees, this is going to open it up a little bit more to show us a little bit more about that obedience in terms of keeping the feast days, in terms of just obeying every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahuwah. This was the character and nature of these men. And these are the men, unless we are like these men. He's not renewing his covenant with nobody else unless your nature and your character resembles theirs. He's not renewing his covenant with nobody else, with anybody else, unless your nature and your character resembles theirs, which means that you are walking this ancient path, which is to obey the pure, unadulterated milk of the word. Simply, the end of the matter. To obey the pure, unadulterated milk of the word without turning to the right or to the left of obedience to it. And so to those of you who are on YouTube, we are grateful once more that you have joined us. We pray that you would continue to join us on this journey. We pray that as this word was spoken this day, that not one word fell, or not one seed fell by the wayside, that not one seed fell upon shallow ground, that not one seed fell amongst thorns, but that this seed fell upon fertile soil, fertilized soil, cultivated soil, conducive to the planting of the seed, the word, the Dabar, the Torah, so that this seed will grow up, so that the Ruach will then come and water that seed, so that it grows up to become a mighty tree, producing the fruit that leads to everlasting life. It is my prayer that not one word fell void, but that it will indeed accomplish that which Yahuwah has sent it forth to do. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, so be it. Until the next time, to our YouTube family, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make his face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name on the children of Yasha'al, and I myself shall barak them. So be it, so be it, so be it.